This right here is the SofaBaton X2. It takes pretty much everything you know about a universal remote and, well, it does exactly what you'd expect. Honestly, the bar doesn't seem all that high. You just need a vaguely rectangular shaped object with a series of buttons and the ability to mix and match what those buttons do in order to send different signals to different devices. And yet, as simple as this sounds, pretty much every single remote that I've ever used has given me something to complain about. As it turns out, universal remotes are really hard to make. That's why SofaBaton also sent us 2 other remotes, and in turn, I made 2 other reviews kind of roasting them for their hardware and software. But I think that the SofaBaton X2 right here might just finally buck the trend. Because right out of the gate, this is the best feeling remote that I've ever used. It has a premium aluminum shell, a very high quality touchscreen display, and a really robust ecosystem of compatible devices. But first things first, for those of you that aren't aware, this is the newly released SofaBaton X2 Universal Remote. High-end universal remotes are in very short supply ever since the discontinuation of the Logitech Harmony line, and with Logitech's lack of any kind of software support, we really need a good alternative here. So the SofaBaton X2 offers a very similar setup to those Harmony remotes. You get the remote itself along with a hub which connects to your Wi-Fi to let you program the remote and control network devices, along with a wireless IR repeater, and of course you also get power cables and wired IR blasters which allow you to further extend the range of infrared control for the remote and the hub. Speaking of which, pretty much every aspect of this remote has been polished, like the new anodized aluminum housing, which feels very nice to the touch, along with the backlit buttons. And on the bottom, off to the other side of the USB-C charging port, we finally have charging contacts for an included charging dock. And this was one of the worst aspects of the SofaBaton X1 in my opinion. I really think that it held it back from being a serious product, so I'm glad the SofaBaton X2 finally includes this. The screen and built-in UI of the remote are also a huge improvement from the previous models, since we finally get a capacitive touchscreen and a completely new set of menus in order to use it. And they did some stuff that I really like here. The menus feel very smooth when scrolling, and I appreciate the use of gestures for tasks like starting activities to prevent from accidentally turning on your whole system, which has happened more than once on our old Harmony remotes. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows here. The SofaBaton X2 has inherited some of the features of the X1 that I wasn't all that crazy about, like for example the ergonomics, of which there are none. I can kind of excuse this because it would be really hard to make an ergonomic CNC aluminum shell without raising the price substantially, but I'm still heavily questioning some of their choices with the button layout that put essential features like play and pause so low on the remote. Most people aren't going to be bothered by this, but I'm biased because I think the Harmony layout is really good and people should shamelessly copy every single aspect of it. And like the X1 remote, it also ships with the exact same SofaBaton hub and runs on the same SofaBaton app that I've signaled concerns about in the past. And with its 2.6 star rating on the Google Play Store, it's still not very reassuring. I would honestly much prefer that the remote didn't require an online SofaBaton account in order to set it up, but it sounds like that became mandatory in a recent update, so take that for what you will. Now, I should mention that SofaBaton claims to be addressing these concerns in a new smartphone app that's coming out in the next few months, at least that's what they claimed over email, but since it's not out yet and I don't know what the new app looks like, I can't really tell you whether or not that's going to fix a lot of these problems. Aside from that, the workflow is very similar to that of Logitech Harmony. In the app, you can add devices from SofaBaton's device database and enroll those devices in activities, which orchestrate multiple devices together, setting appropriate power states, inputs, and button mappings in order to let you control everything together seamlessly. And when you have a giant media rack like we do back there, it's really helpful to have a universal remote that doesn't get in your way when you're trying to use your system. That said, adding devices is kind of a burden. Even if a device is in their database and it has all of the IR mappings for it, you still need to do further configuration to tell the SofaBaton how it should control the power and input selection of the devices when activities begin and end, which I feel should have been accounted for in SofaBaton's database. But it's not all bad. I actually found it very helpful that SofaBaton provided community-contributed IR codes for devices that they didn't have officially, like our BenQ HT4550i projector, and that saves me a lot of time for having to manually input all of the IR codes from the projector remote. And I also noticed that SofaBaton has added many more Wi-Fi device control options in their app, like the Home Assistant remote and direct IP control options that basically allow you to send raw HTTP requests or MQTT messages directly from the remote to control any compatible endpoints like smart home lighting, for example. This is a problem that I've been solving on the Harmony remotes using an open source solution called ECP-EMU server. But having this functionality built directly into the SofaBaton software without any janky hacks is a genuine game changer and a huge win for home automation. With direct IP control, you can integrate the X2 with just about anything, like say control your home theater PC over IP rather than infrared for better reliability. The possibilities are basically endless here if you know how to take advantage of direct IP control. Aside from that, there is a lot of other functionality built into the app that helps you integrate your SofaBaton system with other devices and services. For example, the SofaBaton API is very helpful because it exposes your activities as URLs that can take simple HTTP GET requests to turn them on and off. But unfortunately, when I actually tried it, it didn't work very well. The remote wasn't notified that there was an activity running once I started it from the API, so even though all of my devices turned on, the remote didn't actually know that it was supposed to be controlling them, and I had to start the activity again from within the remote. But aside from all the discussion of software, once the remote is actually up and running, I found it to be very pleasant to use, and it seemed like there was a very low amount of latency between starting activities and seeing our devices begin to respond. All of the buttons were very responsive, and I didn't experience any connection issues between the hub and the remote. So long as you're only using infrared devices. I tried adding my PS5 over Bluetooth, since a lot of people might be using their PS5 as a 4K Blu-ray player, for example. So it seemed like a good idea to try, and yeah, it was really rough. Well, unfortunately, despite my best efforts, I just genuinely can't get the remote to connect to the PlayStation anymore. It worked earlier. I don't know why it doesn't work now. This is definitely a known issue, and SofaBaton says they're working on it, but it is disappointing that the X2 is pretty much only limited to IR and IP for now. But at any rate, it may be indicative of deeper software problems, which is nothing new to the SofaBaton ecosystem, unfortunately. So, SofaBaton, let me bargain with you here, because I honestly think you've made a product that you should be extremely proud of. The SofaBaton X2 is an amazing universal remote in my opinion, but I still feel like the ecosystem holds it back, and I'm the kind of person that needs to have very strong trust in a product like this because it's the interface to an entire system. If the universal remote doesn't work well because the software doesn't hold up, your entire media system could potentially become useless. So I want you to look into the market for something like this. Take the SofaBaton X2 remote, anodize it black, and pair it with a new Raspberry Pi based hub built for professionals with features like Ethernet, no requirement to make an account or use online servers, and support for adding activities and devices from a local web interface. Then run all of that on an open source firmware that you build in collaboration with your community and call it something like SofaBaton Pro. Sell it for $100 more, and I honestly think if you did this, your engineers would probably have a lot of fun, and SofaBaton could potentially become a standard choice for professional smart home installations and enthusiasts. I've seen this model succeed with companies like Icewhale with their Zima board, which has completely open source software, and that's a really big highlight of their products. As far as I'm aware, nobody else has even made a product that would come close in this price range if you added those kinds of features. So all that is to say, the ball's in SofaBaton's court. I seriously think the X2 here is a massive improvement from their previous offerings, and I can't wait to see how they iterate on this design further, but as always, the software is a sticking point. And at a $379 MSRP, it shouldn't have to be. This is definitely not a cheap remote, and SofaBaton is competing with a large market of used Harmony Elite and Ultimate remotes and hubs that you can probably get your hands on for very cheap if you're willing to put up with a used product that you might have to replace the battery in. So the SofaBaton X2 really seems like the only current player in this price range that offers enough flexibility and a good enough user experience to really rival the Logitech Harmony, so it's up to you to decide whether or not you're able to put up with those software hiccups in your setup. But with all that said, I hope you found this video helpful, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our future content, and as always, have an awesome day.